Hello, everyone. For whomever has already joined, we will wait a few minutes for everyone to join. I see we have right now around 15 attendees, but more people are coming in, so we will give it 1 or 2 more minutes. All right. I see that not more people are joining at the moment. Maybe some will join us later. So, welcome everyone to this iteration of the NERO training webinar series. Today, with the theme of immersive and gamified cybersecurity practices for SMEs. I hope you can all see my screen, by the way. Um, my name is Ole, and I will guide you through today's session as the host. As you can see, we already had two sessions previously. Today, this is the third and final session of the webinar series. However, we will have another webinar next week on the 26th of January at the same time, 10 o'clock CET. It's a training webinar on the tools of the NERO marketplace. To start, a few words on the NERO project. The NERO project is funded by the European Union as part of the Digital Europe program, and lasts for 3 years, started in 2023. The NERO project our consortium has 16 partners from 10 different EU countries. The main objectives of the NERO project are to build a cybersecurity awareness ecosystem for SMEs, to demonstrate the benefits of NERO through three use cases: healthcare, finance, and transportation logistics, and to support SMEs through knowledge sharing and training for cybersecurity. The main outcomes of this project are the cybersecurity awareness ecosystem and a user-friendly marketplace and training platform. Now the speakers of today. Today, the trainings will be given by Wissam, project manager and CTO at Montimash, Acosta, CTO at Sphinx, and myself, project manager at Massive Dynamics Sweden. Before we start, a few tips. The Q&A for today will happen entirely through the chat, the Q&A box. So if you have a question, if a question pops up, please put it in the Q&A box and we will answer it either throughout the panel or at the end. This training will also be recorded, and later on shared through our channels. The same goes for the presentation slides. Since this is a research project, we would really appreciate if you could help us fill out our questionnaires. Now we have started, or now we're starting with a pre-training questionnaire. So we would really be glad if you could give us a few minutes to fill out this questionnaire. I believe it will also be posted in the chat now, or to scan the QR code. All right. You can see still the QR code on the side, on the bottom right here. I will just move on to our agenda. So very quickly, Wissam will start with giving a training on cyber ranges training and exercises. Then I will take over with the training on gamification-based cybersecurity. And then finally, Kostas will give a training on incident response using the CACAO playbooks. Now I will hand it over to Wissam.
Thank you a lot, Ole, for this introduction. I will start sharing my screen. Just let me know if you can see my slides. And maybe I will also turn off my camera so that you can have maybe a better quality. So the title of this training, the first session will be Cyber Ranges Training and Exercises, and we'll have a focus on anti-phishing attacks. So my name is Wissam Malouli. I'm, as you said, Senior Researcher and CTO of Montimage company. We are an SME located in Paris and expert in cybersecurity and a member of NERO project. And we are leading this building of marketplace with several tools and trainings. And this one is one of the trainings that are provided in this context. So the objective of this training will be mainly focused on phishing emails. So we'll try to together to check an application that has been built by Montimage to recognize phishing, which is one of the social engineering attempts in everyday communications. We'll also try to identify together how to check this emails, how to uh, identify signs of attacks and complete sign phishing emails, understand what are the techniques of this phishing, and make decision and react appropriately when facing this kind of emails. Uh, Before I start with the solution itself, I will present what is a cyber range. Cyber range based training. Maybe you already saw this concept of cyber range. So this is a physical cyber range in the photo. Generally, it will be a closed environment where we can run realistic say, activities related to cybersecurity. So, for example, we'll run attacks, we'll try to detect them, try to react them, and of course, this closed environment is safe because, of course, if you work in a normal environment, maybe when we'll try to attack, the attacks can go and target other real servers and can have of course, a bad impact in terms of security and availability of these assets in a network. That's why we try to work in this controlled environment. And this is the case in general, also with the virtual environment that can be also closed environment where we can do this kind of activities for, in general, a big objective of developing this cyber resilience for companies. And these cyber ranges, of course, are used for training. In Multimage, we have two cyber ranges. The first one is called ADR for Attack Detect React, where we can simulate different kind of attacks. So we learn how attackers behave. So this is something very important, for example, to do some penetration testing. We'll also learn how to detect these attacks using an intrusion detection system. So we learn how an intrusion detection system works, what kind of techniques based on signature, based on machine learning and other techniques, and how to react to these attacks. And we have this other cyber range that we'll see today with this phishing detection training, where we'll, in this closed environment, receive realistic phishing emails. In fact, we'll receive emails and we'll try to identify if these are legitimate emails or phishing emails, how to do what kind of phishing, how to identify that, and how to react to that. All this will be in this platform, and this will be the focus of today because it's one of the attacks that very, very impactful for SMEs. See, first of all, what is a phishing? First of all, what is phishing? So, the definition form of social engineering used to trick people into revealing sensitive information, or clicking on a link or and load malware. So finally, what you will have in general is the attacker will send you an email, and the victim, if he cannot recognize this email, and if he will click on the link or he download attached uh, document and file, maybe this attached file contain a malware that will install in the computer, or maybe by clicking an email, you go to a website that is very similar to, I don't know, his bank account website, and he will provide his credentials. And of course, when he will provide his credential, the attacker will receive this credential that can be used later on to connect to the real and legitimate website. Of course, this is the case for phishing, for email phishing, but we can have the same idea when we receive SMS. So we can have also malicious links in SMS. So it's called smishing, and we can also have calls, so real phone calls, and this voice phishing is called phishing. So today we'll focus mainly on email phishing, and we'll see some statistics coming from the ENISA, European Agency on Security, that said that 60% of intrusions in general are using as a first step, as an entry point, this phishing attacks. So a lot of attackers are relying on that to try to have information about the target. And 85% of SMEs agree that cybersecurity issue would have serious detrimental impact or their businesses. In reality, we can even check that SMEs that are in general and in general small businesses, either they have technical knowledge or no IT knowledge. They can, when they are attacked with this kind of phishing email, they can even go out of business, and 57% of these SMEs have this alarming, of course, impact. And this is something that is really very impactful. That's why we need to provide information on how to detect this kind of attacks. Why, in general, phishing email are successful? This is because, first of all, there is an urgency in these emails. So there is always a kind of deadline. If you don't answer very, very quickly, maybe you will lose a service, maybe you will lose money. There is also this fear that you can have when you receive this email to react very, very quickly. And of course, if you are distracted, you will download this, for example, attached file. You will run it without checking that this can be somehow harmful for your server and for your network. And of course, today, more than 80% of email phishing are generated by AI to be more realistic, that to be more convincing. They learn the profile of the target user. They have concrete information related to its content, its company, its knowledge. They can even check your social information to provide realistic images, and that's why a lot of people are somehow also clicking and thinking that these are real emails. So it's very, very important for organization to understand this phishing tactics and put in place real actions in terms of maybe having some phishing campaigns where they will send some email to the your email box and check if you are clicking on them or not. Of course, providing trainings, have this interactive learnings, and of course, have the possibility and or engage people to report this kind of email phishing when they receive them. Uh, of course, as I told you, the consequence of these phishing attacks can be really very impactful. So, of course, you can have your credentials that are stolen. You can have also some malware that are installed. This is the case, for example, for some hospitals in Paris and France during the COVID, where they have a lot of ransomware installed in hospitals, and of course, all the data of patient was encrypted. And of course, you can also have your business email compromised and even some other services, because if you install a malware, depend on how this malware is working. And of course, you can have a lot of financial loss or reputation and also customer. This is something serious. That's why it's very, very important to raise awareness about some facts and build this human resilience, because finally, this is, I told you, one of the social engineering attacks here is important. So you need to have this security awareness training. You need to simulate attacks. You need to have the security culture and encourage report. This is for people, but you need also to put some processes in your company. Of course, you need to enhance the security of your email by providing the necessary email protection to block this kind of to identify the kind of email, to block them, to filter them, to put them in the spam. But of course, as I told you, sometimes since a lot of emails are can be AI generated and then can be very, very let's say similar to real emails. Sometimes you can find them in your inbox, and in this case, the human need to be there. Of course, you need to also mainly for your credential that can be theft. You can stolen. Maybe you need to install this multi-factor authentication, apply some web filtering, and in all cases, you need to define and practice some response procedure for quick containment. And the ENISA recommendation for SMEs related to this kind of attack are based on three pillars. Of course, people that need to be trained. We need to specify policies how to manage email. We need to manage also the third parties that with them. Since we are communicating with a lot of people, so we need to be sure with whom we are communicating and if they are real business emails. We need to put in place these processes in terms of audits, antecedent planning, data protection, and of course, from technical point of view, we need to secure your network, secure your mailbox, and put in place some security monitoring intrusion detection system, antiviruses, and backups to be able to tackle this kind of attacks. Let's come back now to the Montimage email phishing platform. So for training, in fact, this platform, we have a training platform, but we have also other services also to do this phishing campaigns. Also in this platform, we can generate phishing emails that are AI based, that are realistic. So all these services are provided by Montimage, but today we'll mainly focus on this training platform that you can find easily if you go on this link for phishing email detection at montimage.eu. So if you go and follow this link, you can arrive to this website. And as you can see, this phishing email, this phishing detection training is available, and it's for free. You can sign up and start uh, working. Okay, for me, I already have an account. I created yesterday night in reality for this new account, and I started working, and I'm still beginner. And as you can see, I already answered some emails, for example, 3 emails that I received that I was able to identify as phishing or legitimate emails. My accuracy is good enough, etc., etc. I can have some statistic, and I can start training. Before I go to the training, you need to know that in the platform itself, we have 4 level training systems from beginner to expert. When you are a beginner, you have only to classify the email as phishing email or legitimate. If you are in level 1 intermediate, you need to identify the suspicious element in the email that allowed you to recognize if it's phishing email or not. For example, there is a problem with the sender, with the title, something with the attachment, etc. So, or even in the body of the email. So all this information can be suspicious. Then in the advanced, you need to explain why they are suspicious. Is there any urgency? Is there any from the issue? Is there any errors? Is there any weird domain name from the sender, etc., etc.? There is more than 50 explanations that are available in this application. And when you are expert, and this is the latest level, you need to classify attack type and the risk level. And this is that is also very interesting to know why attack is something attack, what want really to what kind of attack and what is its risk. There is in the platform also some other. There is some AI-powered feedback. There is some. It's a game, so you have some scores. You can be ranked. You can have some badges, some certification, some rewards. All these are available in the platform. And if you, I have here a video that shows how it's working. But before we go to video, in reality, there is even on YouTube uh, um, some videos that show you how you can use this phishing detection training platform with several videos that give you how to manage your user, how to track process, how to use the training, how to detect training, etc., etc. So all these information are available. So in reality, we can do the training live or we can see the video. If you do it live, for example, here when I start training and I'm still beginner, so here I need only to say if it is a phishing mail or legitimate mail. So here very easily I can see that the sender is very weird and the name is very weird. So I can say this is a phishing email, and of course it's 100% correct, and I have more points, and this is the fourth answer that is correct in a row, and I can go to the next mail and continue. The idea is that, of course, in the beginner mode, it's very easy. As I told you, it's only to propose to make the classification, but let us continue with the video. And as you can see here, if I progress in the video and I can become in a more advanced way, sorry, this is something more advanced where indeed when I receive an email, I will not only provide the information, but I need also to provide the suspicious emails. This is not here, not in this video. Sorry about that. It was in this one where when I progressing here, I can indeed propose what is where I have the suspicious information. So here, for example, I can say the suspicion is the sender, the subject, and the body. And when I will report it as a phishing email, you can see here that I have a score and I have the right answer. So here nothing is correct, and what I said is not correct. So here I have the right answer, and if I miss something, of course it will provide me the right answer. So the let's say the training is straightforward, and it's a game, so you will find very nice examples of emails, and you would like to have a better score, and there is a ranking between users. So if you are belonging to the same company, you can rank the employees according to their knowledge related to this identification, and this is something that can be of interest. As takeaways to finalize this training, phishing is the first threat to European SMEs, so we need to be able to identify this kind of attacks. People are your best defense line, so we need to raise awareness about the identification of this issue. We need, of course, to implement multi-factor authentication on all the accounts and have an incident response plan. So start building your defense today, and use this kind of trainings for your employees. So train your team, enable MFA, secure email, and run simulations. And this is what I have today. Thank you a lot for your attendance. And if you have any questions, any comment, I'm here to answer you. I don't know if there is any question.
Yes, thank you, Wissam. I think we have a question in the chat.
Mhm.
But also feel free to use the Q&A box, but chat is also fine.
Sorry.
Can you see? I can read the question.
Yeah, please.
It's from Hans Punter.
Mhm.
Is the phishing simulation taking into account spam filtering?
Yes, yes, sure. So this is the idea, is that we would like to generate the more sophisticated phishing email that will not be identified by spam. But of course, the spam filters depends on your email provider. So sometimes the detection of the spam are not done in the same way. And this specific training will provide you different kind of emails. Maybe some of them can be detected by your spam filter, but still the idea is that you need to be able to identify them as spam and or phishing, and report why it is phishing email. In all cases, this training will raise this awareness, and I get you in your inbox some kind of emails like that, even if you have a spam filter. So it's very important that you are able to identify them yourself. I don't know if there is other questions. If not, I will give you the floor. If there is any specific question related to this application, and send me, contact me offline. And thank you all who attend this. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Wissam. The next, this is wrong. Next presentation will be delivered by me, if I'm selecting the correct presentation here. Now this is correct. I hope you can all see my presentation. Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, welcome to this training on scenario-based cybersecurity training via the Kyoku platform. I will first start giving you a quick overview of the Kyoku platform, and then we will have our hands-on part where you can try scenarios yourself. So the basic idea with scenario-based training, especially in the cybersecurity context, is if you will see a little bit how it works. I will explain. The idea behind it is that if you, as a user, go through the scenarios yourself, you sort of in the future when you're facing um, a a situation where you have to make a decision that you already sort of have made this decision before in a context. So that's why this scenario-based training, I will explain a little bit further right now. So how it works is that you are thrown into a situation, you're giving an introduction, and something happens. For example, a ransomware attack. And now you are responsible for handling certain aspects of it. And so you're giving questions. And depending on how you answer, you will go to the next situation. And I mean, this is a visual representation of how it can look like. So basically, we have this tree kind of structure where you can sort of see, okay, you pick a good answer, but then maybe a bad one. Maybe you can save yourself with a good answer again. But that really depends on the scenario and on your decisions. Yes, now we would like you to try it out. So, in line with the three use case sectors of the NERO project, we have created three different pilots. So feel free to scan any of the QR codes. And if you are not working in any of these sectors, just pick one that seems most interesting to you. The links, if you want to follow it directly, will also be posted in the chat by my colleague Pani. While I'll explain further, the QR codes will still be here on the side, or as I said, follow the links. So if you follow any of these links, you will be asked to sign up for on our platform, Kyoku. You can, if you want, delete your account later on. So in the sign up form, just yes, fill in your details. Please provide a real email address because you will be asked for a security code. It's just important that you put in here cybersecurity, and the other two you can, for now, fill in whatever you like. It's not important. You will be redirected to the correct pilot that you have scanned before. And if you have any questions, please also raise them in the chat. So we will try to answer them as quickly as possible. Once the sign-up has been complete, you will be redirected to the pilot, from where we have made a pre-selection depending on your sector. As I said, these are the target sectors for the NERO project. So we have made specific scenarios for each sector, training scenarios, and we have for today we have made a pre-selection of scenarios that we would you to go through. Yes, let me check the chat if anything is there. Yes. Thank you, Pani, for posting the links. Yes, let me check the time. Well, I think we can maybe give you 15 minutes to go through your scenarios. As I said, if you have any questions, please feel free to write them in the chat or in the Q&A box, and we will answer them promptly. And so I would suggest we will reconvene here at 10 to 11. So in 15 minutes. Yes. So have fun. Now, actually, I'm answering a question in the chat. Yes, I think we can continue. I hope we can still see my slides. So, first of all, thank you for participating. I hope you had fun going through the scenarios. Kyoku right now is still under development. So if you're interested to learn more, feel free to visit our website, kyoku.se. And there you can also join our waitlist. This is our newsletter where we'll send updates on the current developments of the platform. For example, by the end of the month, we will release a version where you can actually go in and edit your own scenario. So if you're interested, yes, join up for the waitlist, and you actually already have access to the platform, so you can already click around if you like and check it out. Yes, that was it from my side. Thank you for participating again. And I think now we have some time for question and answers. So if there are any questions, I will open the Q&A again. Feel free to ask them now. So maybe wait for 1 or 2 minutes, and then we'll move on to the next training. All right, it appears there are no questions, at least I can't see any. I think in that case, we will move on to the next webinar, as to the next training, delivered by Costas.
Okay, well, thank you all for joining this training today. 1 second to share my screen, and I will also close my camera to save some bandwidth. You should be able to see my screen now. Please let me know if you cannot. Well, my name is Kostas Poulios. I'm from Sphinx, and today I will give you a short practical introduction to incident response using CACAO playbooks. And the focus of this session is to explain what CACAO is, why it matters for SMEs, and how we can use Sphinx tools to design and execute playbooks in a structured and interoperable way. Okay, by the end of this session, you will be able to do 4 things. First, understand the value of CACAO playbooks in incident response. Second, you'll be able to recognize the structure of a CACAO playbook. Third, understand how to create a CACAO playbook using the Sphinx IR editor. And finally, see how we can execute and monitor a playbook in real time, step by step. The key message of this training is that CACAO turns incident response from documentation into automation. Traditional incident response is often written as a document or procedures, but CACAO makes it possible to represent the response steps as executable workflows with logic, conditions, and automation. So let's start with the basics. Incident response is an organized approach to handling a security incident, such as a breach, malware infection, or a suspicious behavior. Traditionally, The mitigation process is documented in playbooks using a free text, basically like a written checklist. Sometimes playbooks include diagrams or logic graphs, but they're still usually not executable. So many incident response playbooks provided by agencies are very useful, but they're mostly written for humans, not machines. On the other hand, some industry solutions provide executable playbooks, but these are often proprietary, expensive, and not interoperable between tools. So we end up with a gap. We either have free playbooks that are not executable or executable playbooks that are not open or portable. And this is exactly the problem that CACAO addresses. CACAO stands for a Collaborative Automated Course of Action Operations. It is a modern standard, first drafted in 2021, which strictly defines what a playbook must contain so it can become an executable workflow. CACAO playbooks are structured as JSON objects, meaning they follow strict rules and can be validated using schema validators. They support real workflow logic, such as conditions, loops, or parallel execution. They can also include important metadata like severity, priority, contextual incident information, etc. And importantly, each CACAO engine is responsible for parsing the playbook and executing the workflow steps. So CACAO directly addresses the key challenge of sharing and interoperability. Let's quickly go through the structure of the CACAO playbook, which basically can be viewed as three main parts: the metadata, workflow, and execution context. Metadata describes the playbook itself, workflow defines the logic and steps, and execution context contains the information required to actually execute actions like agents, targets, and authentication. CACAO playbooks are enclosed as JSON, which is important because it's machine readable. The specification provides strict rules for structure and schema validators, can ensure that playbooks are well formed. And this is a huge improvement compared to free text playbooks because it reduces ambiguity and enables automation. Metadata includes information like the playbook name, unique identifier, description, timestamps, priority, signatures, a lot of stuff. And this information helps with governance management and safe sharing across organizations. Then we have the workflow itself, which is the list of executable steps. It has a single entry point, and steps are linked together to create the response logic. This is where we move from a document to a flow that can actually run. Each workflow step is also a JSON object. Steps can include fields like a name, delays, timeouts, and most importantly, commands. Steps that execute commands reference the relevant agents and targets, which are a key to execution. Commands are what each step actually does. We will see later on in the live training. A step can have one or more commands executed in sequence. Commands types can include bash commands, SSH commands, HTTP API calls, or manual actions. This is how CACAO supports different levels of automation, from fully automated to human-in-the-loop workflows. Agents are the entities that execute the commands. An agent can be like an automated system, a security tool, or even could be a human operator. We can have multiple agents that can be available from the same action, for the same action. For example, you might have an automated tool as the preferred agent and a human operator as a fallback. Targets are what the commands run on or against. Targets can be Linux or Windows host, specific tools, software systems, or even REST endpoints. This makes CACAO to be flexible. It cannot orchestrate actions across many systems, not just a single platform. To execute actions securely, CACAO can also include authentication information. This could include credentials, tokens, API keys, or similar information. But in practice, organizations often manage this securely through vaults or secret managers. But the key point is that CACAO supports the context of authentication as part of the execution context. Finally, playbooks can be digitally signed. This helps protect integrity and validity, and it allows organizations to confirm who created the playbook and whether it has been modified. This is important for trust and safe sharing. Here is, you can see a workflow example. The main point is that the CACAO playbook workflow is essentially a graph of steps connected by logic. You can model real incident response process like collect evidence, check conditions, run containment actions, notify analysts. We'll see later on how we use Slack for this purpose. And when we add commands, each step becomes actionable. So instead of saying run a scan, we define the command that runs the scan. Instead of saying notify the SOC, the Security Operations Center, we define the manual or automated action that sends the notification. We can even create a ticket in the ticketing system of an organization. And this is exactly where incident response becomes repeatable and consistent. Now let's look at how Sphinx supports CACAO. The CACAO Playbook Editor provides workflow steps as graph nodes, so you can design playbooks visually with drag and drop. Each step has its own configuration, and playbooks are exported in CACAO version 2 format. We can have also imported playbooks that can be visually automatically as editable graphs, which is very useful when you want to reuse third-party playbooks. And best of all is that no CACAO knowledge required to get started. It's very simple, as you will see in a minute. The editor supports 8 different types of workflow nodes. Start and end nodes are mandatory. Action nodes execute actions. Parallel nodes can run branches in parallel. If nodes perform comparisons like an if statement. Switch node route based on a variable value. We will see in the example in a few seconds. While nodes implement loops, playbook nodes can trigger the execution of other playbooks, which basically this gives you enough flexibility to represent most of the real incident response logic. And this is what makes one playbook usable across multiple incidents, reusability. And each playbook can be made to be environment specific. So variables are managed inside the start step. All variable names must be wrapped in underscores, for example, double underscore URL double underscore. And you can add variables, edit them, use them inside commands. And to reference a variable, you can use the syntax, variable name followed by colon value. Different data types are supported like strings, integers, and IPv4 addresses. And this is important because incident response often needs dynamic inputs like an IP address, host name, or URL. So you cannot always have everything hard-coded. Action steps contain a list of commands executed in sequence. Supported commands types include bash for local shell commands, manual for notifying operators via email or Slack, SSH for remote shell commands, and HTTP API commands for interacting with REST APIs. This gives us a lot of flexibility, and we can automate what is safe and stable and keep manual steps where human validation is needed. The switch step evaluates a CACAO variable and routes the workflow to the first matching branch. We define the switch variable and then define cases. Cases can be added, reordered, drag and drop. If no match is found, the workflow follows the default branch. And this is useful in incident response because many decisions depend on classification results, severity levels, or detection outcomes. Finally, once the playbook is designed, it can be executed using the CACAO playbook engine. The engine provides a real-time view of the execution. We can manage the execution, see the workflow graph, track which step is currently running, etc. And for manual or semi-automated playbooks, users can provide input during the execution. So this becomes a practical operational tool, not just a design environment. Let me switch now to the to the browser. This is a Sphinx CyberEngine platform. I will choose the program. Okay, let me first log in. Okay, this is the program called the Playbooks in Instant Response, created for this training. I will start the scenario. We'll go through this due to time constraints. We'll go through this very quickly, but when the user is starting the scenario, he can see on a video explaining to him what needs to be done. Let me go to the first screen because, okay, so this is the first video. This training basically is requested to configure a CACAO playbook. It's a pre-configured, pre-created playbook for the sake of time. We will only need to add an extra step here to just demonstrate the capabilities. This is how it looks. Here on the bottom, we can click this bar, and it will open this virtual desktop where we can open a browser. Let me quickly get the links from the notes. And I will open the IR editor. Okay. This is the editor. Let me open another tab for the engine. So we have it ready. The links for the editor and the engine will be provided through notes of the exercise. They cannot be static. That's why they're not part of the description here. And let's load the training CACAO playbook that we have prepared for today. So basically, this is in this training, you are requested to extend and tune a playbook obtained from a public playbook repository, for example. The playbook receives an input, as input a domain, we will see here, fetches the certificate in this step, and extracts the issuing country. So we can find the country here, and then we have this switch node, which then it switches on the country code and follows a different branch per country code. The default, if it's not found, USA, Greece, we can add an extra one manually now and see how easy it is to add extra nodes. So such playbooks are useful during the data gathering phase, for example, in SOC center, security of center. And then basically it can be used to quickly scan multiple domains and trigger a different action set based on the issuer country. So we can have a different action if it is from US, a different action if it is from Greece. So basically this exercise here, it asks you to create an extra node. It gives you all the steps here to add some variables. Because of the time, if I double click here, you will see that these variables, I have added them already for you. So this is how you add a variable. You can click here, add variable. You can edit a variable. And then you click done. Moving next. And then we can also see the action steps here with the different nodes. We have all this configuration, and this is where the switch is happening based on the country, and this is what the exercise now is asking us to do. We can add an extra country, let's say Spain. Done. When we did this, if you see here on the right, there's an extra edit case that has been included. So for that, we need to add another action, which is as simple as just drag and drop, connect this here, and we always need to have an end step, which then we will connect that. Let's go and copy from here. So if you see here, this is a command type of manual. This means that it will send a message through Slack to the Slack channel general. Let's do the same for here. And just say, let's say it is Spain. Give it the name. Yes, done. So that was all. So it was as simple as that. All we need now to do is click save and close it from here and go to the engine, load it from the engine, select the same playbook, load. For security purposes, we need to do one small thing here, which is to allow the use of an external executor. This for the sake of people not abusing this, because I'm going to consume this externally now. Deploy it. And now it should be ready to execute. Click start. Let me show you the Slack message. Where is the Slack? So this is a channel. You see here, this is the last message, 11:36. So if I execute this now, I will. So we see now with 12/12/22 was executed. The issuer of the certificate for the website of NERO is served by US. And if you see in the Slack, we have at the current time a new message that has been received, and the result is USA. Basically, why this happened is because here we have selected a manual command type, result equals USA. And basically this concludes the technical hands-on task that we have to do. Then as this is a cyber system as well, you can proceed with an exercise. It will give you an option to give some answers, submit, and finish. This was timed, so you can also basically achieve the assessment. This concludes the hands-on part of the training. Let me continue with a couple of more slides left. So the main, to wrap up, here are the main takeaways. CACAO enables standardized executable instant response. Playbooks become shareable and interoperable. They can support manual, semi-automated, and fully automated response. And Sphinx provides end-to-end CACAO support from design to execution to monitoring. Thank you very much for your time. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
Yes, thank you, Kostas. Are there
Thank
any
you all.
questions for Kostas? Again, you can ask your questions in the Q&A or also in the chat. Okay. I don't see any questions. Thank you, Kostas. I think we can move on with a little bit of outro for this
Thank you, everyone.
webinar. I hope you can see my slides again in full screen mode. So again, since this is a research, since this training is part of the NERO research project, we would be very glad if you could take a few minutes of your time to fill out now our post questionnaire. In the beginning, we asked you to fill out our pre-questionnaire. So this is, yes, the questionnaire for after the training. So I will give you a couple of minutes to scan the QR code and fill out the questionnaire. Again, we would be very grateful for your contribution. Yes, and again, this post questionnaire has been posted to the chat as well. Right. While you fill out the questionnaire, I think I will move on to our slides. You can still see, no, not the QR code here. Yes, final opportunity to ask your questions. Of course, you're also welcome to reach out to any of the speakers or to the NERO project directly. I will have contact information on the NERO project later in a few slides. But if you would like to ask anything now, feel free to use the Q&A box or ask in the chat. Unfortunately, Wissam had to leave a little bit earlier today. So if you have a question for him, the first training that was given today, yes, feel free to reach him via email. But any question for Costas or me, you can ask now as well, or the NERO project in general. All right. I don't see any questions, so I will move on. As mentioned in the beginning, this was the third iteration of the webinar series, but it's not over yet. We will have one more additional webinar, which will take place next Monday on 26th of January, same time as today, 10 o'clock CET. And this webinar will focus on training, giving trainings on the tools of the NERO marketplace. So you have seen, for example, now Costa's presentation. He has already shown you a demo of one of the tools that is available on the new marketplace from Sphinx. Yes, we will have more trainings on tools on Monday. So feel free to sign up for this webinar as well. Yes, here are a few contact points for the NERO project. You can follow us on LinkedIn, YouTube, X. Of course, you can also visit our website, nerocybersecurity.eu. There you will also find the marketplace. Yes. Thank you for joining today. I will leave the QR code for the questionnaire post questionnaire once more. We also have them in the chat. If you have already filled them out, thank you so much for helping us with our research. And yes, I think I will have it stand for 1 or 2 more minutes, but then we will close this session. Thank you so much for joining.